Hello and welcome to the Relocation Specialist Web Seminar. Today we're going to look at how to use ReloSpec for HSF affiliates. So those of you who are in attendance should be an affiliate of HSF. We're going to look at a number of settings that you'll be using, as well as things that will enable you to use the system much more efficiently and get credit for all of those outgoing referrals. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at settings, because once you have logged into ReloSpec, you may have noticed that there are settings that when people look up the HSF affiliates, when they look up your office, you may want a different person listed, or a different email address or other setting for those people. So first thing we're going to do is go to settings and get that set up. If we click HSF contacts in the settings page, we then are able to view, oops, I'm in the demo database, so we're not viewing. I don't have any because the demo database isn't a member. Let me go back to the main menu. Let me log out. We'll log in as okay. Let's try that again. When I click HSF contacts, now I can see whoever is listed for my office. If I want to add somebody else, maybe I have a new incoming coordinator that I want to list, just click Add New. Put in their name and other details that you can select. Notice that for the office ID, you'll have a drop list there, so you can select which office they work in. And once you've selected that office, you can select the phone number and email address, put that in there. The rest of this information is going to get filled in for you automatically. Remember to, what gets filled in is the ESA for the county and the state and the zip codes. All of that you don't need to worry about. In fact, if you tried to enter something in there, it wouldn't let you. But here's where you select, do I want it to display? Do I want other people to see that? You probably say yes. And do they receive referrals? And you'd say yes for that. And then using ReloSpec, of course, you'd have yes. So you're going to fill in everything on the left side, selecting the office, fill in the phone number, just the first phone number is enough, the email address, and then put 3 yeses in these fields and click Add New Record. Once you do that, then that new record will be listed here, and others, when they're looking up your office, they'll be able to see all of the people that you have listed there. Now, to the left of HSF contacts is just another button. This is contacts. Well, what's the difference? The difference is that this contacts table are contacts that are listed for your database. This is just a table that you've created. You put people in here and only you have access to it. When you click HSF contacts, at that point you're looking at records that are actually in the HSF affiliates database, not your database. So this table, even though you can edit some of the people in here in HSF contacts, you're updating the same table that everyone has access to. So that's the difference between contacts and HSF contacts. Now, while we're on the settings page, I want to show you just a couple other things that you should have in your database. You may already have them, but if you don't, I want you to check for these because it will make a difference later in our seminar. First one is this Referral Sources. From time to time, I find someone that doesn't have any of them listed. If you don't, I would suggest just type sample or get some field in there. If you have one, that's really all we need. If you don't have that, then when you run one of the express forms that we'll be looking at in a few minutes, you'll get an error at the top of the page. So I want to avoid getting any error messages. To the right of Referral Sources is Action Plans. And if you haven't done this already, I would suggest that you click the second one down, which is Get Standard Action Plans. When you do that, it will list all of the ones that are standard. And you may be missing some of these, which are standards, especially Express Incoming and Express Outgoing. When you click the Start button, it will add all of these standard action plans to your database. The exception is if you already have an in-buy or an in-list, which is likely that you would, and you may have your own version of that, right? You may have taken the standard and then added something or subtracted, whatever you want. When it goes through to add the standard action plans, if you already have one called in-buy, it skips over that. So it won't change what you already have. But if you're missing one or two or three, whatever, it will add them to your database. And the ones that we're really looking for are Express Incoming and Express Outgoing. We use those with the Express forms, and I'll show you those in just a moment. Now, I should have said right up front, and I neglected to do this, but if you have any questions, I cannot hear you over the phone. And so what I want you to do is over here in the panel, which probably is on the right side of your screen, there's a place to enter a question and then submit it. And I will try to monitor for those questions and answer any that you may have during this broadcast. Okay, that's it for settings right now. We're going to go back to the main menu page. On the main menu, once you've logged in, if you're a member of HSF Affiliates, you will have this extra button here for Search HSF Affiliates. If you're not an HSF affiliate, you won't have that here. Okay, so that is exclusive to HSF brokers. When you click Search HSF Affiliates, as you probably know, you can put in the information that you need or the information that you happen to know. Maybe you have a first name, you're not sure of the last name, but you know the company name. Put in whatever you know and you'll be able to find the record that you're looking for. You'll have phone number and email readily available. Now, that's great for just looking up a particular affiliate and not doing anything more with it. What we're going to do next is to look at the Express forms. Now, if you're new to ReloSpec, hopefully you are using Express forms all the time. If you're not new to ReloSpec, what you're probably used to doing is going to the client list page and going through many extra steps that you don't have to do if you'll use the Express forms. Let me demonstrate for you. And this is for those of you who've been using ReloSpec a long time. Maybe you learned the old way before the Express forms were even introduced. What you're used to doing is going to clients. If you want to add a new record, you click Add New. You fill out the fields that you know that you need to fill in. Perhaps you look up someone from your contacts table, and you just go through this large form, filling in the fields that you need, and then click Add New Record. Now, once you've done that, hopefully you're using the action plans. Then you would click Action Plans. You'd select the action plan that you want. You'd come down here to the bottom and click Add Now. Then it would add these items to this particular record. But then if any of them are due to go out today, now you click Autopilot and you see whatever is due to go out, and you click the button to process them, and out they go. That's kind of a long process. Let me show you something that will save you a lot of time. Plus, do a few other things that you may not realize that it's doing for you. Let's say that we have a new outgoing referral. Okay? We're going to use start a new outgoing referral. All of this is done from the main menu page. So I click Start a New Outgoing Referral. Again, it's just like the client list page. There are certain fields here. I'm going to fill them in as best I know. Now, if it's somebody that I'm just putting in for the first time, I can manually enter all of this information. But it would be a lot more convenient if we just look up the company that we need, we select the person that we want it to go to, click the button, and notice that it fills all this information in for us automatically. Okay, so we just use look up HSF affiliate, find who we want to send it to, and send it. Now, if we want to send it to somebody that's not an affiliate, we can look it up from brokers using ReloSpec or from your own table, just like in the client list page, if you want. Now, this is an outgoing, so your agent is probably in your table. You can look up from the agent's table, select the agent you want, click the button, and it copies the agent information into the form. Okay, very easy. Next is to select the other fields that we know. We simply fill them in. We do need a client last name, and we'll just put that in. And other fields that we know, go ahead and fill them in, and then scroll to the bottom of the page. Now, here's where the magic happens, because at the bottom of the page, notice we have action plan to be run. And we can select from any of the action plans that we have in our database. The default for an outgoing express form is express outgoing. If you want to, you can select that. You can select any of them that you, any individual action plan that you want, and then click Submit. Now, when you click Submit, here's what happens. ReloSpec will look at the action plan items and schedule them for this referral. It will save the referral to your client list page. All of those action plan items get scheduled, and if anything is due to go out today, then it automatically sends your autopilots. So with just one click, it does all of those items. Now, if you're sending it to an HSF affiliate, it does one other thing, and that is it sends a copy of this referral to the HSF affiliates database. So you get credit for the outgoing referral. And one other thing, ReloSpec looks up to see if the receiving broker is using ReloSpec. If they are, it also sends a copy of this referral over to the import table of the other broker. That's a lot. It schedules the items, the tasks that are due to be done. Any that are due today, it sends them out, sends a copy to HSF affiliates and a copy over to the other broker. All with just clicking the Submit button. Now, if you're not using these express forms, you should be. As you can see, it saves you a lot of steps. Now, if it's an incoming, we can start a new incoming referral the same way. If we know where it's coming from and they haven't sent it to us, maybe they're not using ReloSpec or they haven't sent it over yet, you can look up from the HSF affiliates just like we did for an outgoing. We look up who it's coming from. We can assign the agent. We can then fill in any information that we know and run the action plan, send out everything out to the agent, do all those wonderful things, again, with just one click. Okay? So for HSF affiliates, if you're not using the express forms, you really need to consider that. Now, if you're brand new to this idea of using the express forms, here's what I suggest. practice. Just test one or two. Put your email address in there. Look up your own company. Send it to yourself. That way you'll see how it comes into your import table. You'll get any emails that are sent to the agent. Okay, so you'll get an idea of just how this thing works. So put in your email address for the contact, put in your email address as the agent, okay? Make up a name for the client and submit. And you'll get an idea of just how these things are working, okay? All right, now, hopefully you already know the next three things I'm going to tell you, but in case you don't, there is one that's especially important for HSF affiliates. It's the third one. The first one we're going to look at is accepting the incoming referrals. If you ever see that there's anything greater than a 0 here, you should monitor this page. And if you see anything greater than a 0, then click on this link. The reason for that is because if other brokers are trying to send you something, it's coming into your import table first. That way you can look at it, you can assign an agent, then you can bring it in, run the action plan as though you typed everything yourself. It's just that now someone else has typed in the client information for you. You can accept it in the import table. And that's what this is all about. Autopilots. These are autopilots that are there for you that haven't been sent yet. Again, monitor this carefully. And if there's anything that's due to go out, then be sure and click the link here and get those sent out. Now, one thing that's available to you is to have those autopilots sent for you every morning automatically. You don't even have to log in to have those autopilots sent. Okay, now the way that works is you would let a member of the team, the ReloSpec team, know that you want your autopilot sent automatically. What we'll do is we'll update a page that gets run every morning, and it will get to your database name and your username and send out whatever's waiting for you. Now, it only does that once a day, just in the morning, but that way if you have any update requests and maybe you're out sick or on vacation or out to meetings, those autopilots get sent for you no matter what. Okay. Now, to the right of that is responses. Think of that as these are the items coming back to you from the agent or contacts if it's an outgoing. And you would click responses. You'd see what's going on. You read the responses here, and then once you've had a chance to review these, if you just click the link at the bottom of the page, it will move each of these responses out of the responses table and into the notes for each individual referral. Okay. Now, I don't see any questions, so we're going to look at the client list page. There's just a couple things that you need to be aware of that you may not know. Often, each month, you will get an email that tells you how many referrals you have sent out year to date. And we didn't send one in January 1st because it's the first day of the year and not many people were sending outgoing referrals on the first day. But come the 1st of February, we'll start sending those out again. So you'll know for 2018 how many you've sent out in the first 31 days. Now, often, once those are sent out, someone will get a hold of us and say, well, now, this shows that I sent 5, and I know that I sent 7. Why are the other 2 in here? Well, first of all, those records that are listed in the email that you get are the records that are sitting in the HSF affiliates database. Okay, we don't look at your database, we look at those that have been sent from your database to HSF affiliates. So it has to be in their database for you to get credit, right? Now, what we'll do is often we'll look at this and and we'll see that perhaps it's outgoing. Let me find, let's see. Let me log out. I'm going to log out of here and log into the demo database to show you the rest of this. Okay. Now let's say that we did have an outgoing record. This is it here. Okay. So we know that it was going to BHHS New Mexico Properties. And we click on the link here. And what happens is often the subtype is outgoing, but over here on the right side, we'll see that we did not have the HSF affiliate checkbox here checked. Okay, I need to do one other thing. I need to log in to the demo database as though I'm an HSF affiliate. Okay, same database, same outgoing record. Now you'll see up here we have the HSF sync checkbox. Okay, so what's happened is somebody put in this information. Okay, subtype is outgoing, but notice this check, the box is not checked. And if it's not checked, then when ReloSpec runs its utility that goes through and sees if there's any records that should be in HSF affiliates that aren't there yet, it will find those records where subtype is outgoing and this box is checked. Okay, so in this case, you would not be getting credit for this outgoing referral because it's not in the HSF affiliates database. Why isn't it? It's because this was not checked. Now, if you were to look up HSF affiliate, which you should always be doing, and I put in here some information about that property and click the button, notice that it does fill in all the information that I need filled in here, but it also includes that check mark. Okay, so that's what's typically missing is, and don't just come in and you can check it manually and update the record, but the problem with that is that the ReloSpec won't let you update the record unless you looked up the company. Okay, there's a reason for that. The reason is that there's a hidden field that has the database name and the HSF ID for that other broker, and they're not displayed here. The database ID is displayed over here, but not the HSF ID. Okay, and you need both of those. If you're going to have that checked and it's outgoing and you try to update, ReloSpec's going to make sure, hey, did you look that up from the table or are you just typing it in? Often when I come in here, I'm trying to troubleshoot these and it'll say something like BHHS ambassador. Well, I know that BHHS whatever is not in the lookup table. It's always spelled out. Okay, so that's an easy way to troubleshoot that. We want you to get credit for all of the referrals that you have outgoing to other HSF affiliates. So that's how you troubleshoot that. Okay, let's check to see if there are any questions. Okay, there are no questions. So I'm going to, we'll talk about just a couple other little things here. I'll give you an idea of what's coming up with ReloSpec, and then we'll be done. What's coming up with ReloSpec, there's a number of features that are coming up that I think you'll find very helpful. One is that we are doing a serious upgrade on the way that emails are handled with regard to ReloSpec. What's coming is the ability not only to send the emails, you've had that for quite a while, but you'll be able to have much more information about that email. You'll know details about it, when it was sent, was it opened, what's going on with it. Okay, so but the really neat thing is that when you send a form, let's say you send an update form to an agent, and from time to time, instead of clicking the link, they'll just hit reply and say, okay, here's what's going on, and send an email. What we're doing is we're embedding code into that outgoing form so that if they do hit reply, then yes, you'll get the email, but a copy of that email, the data is extracted and a copy is inserted into your responses table. Okay, so right now, if they hit reply, like they're not supposed to do, but if they hit reply, then the email, you get the inbox, and then you have to open the email, and then you have to go look up who the client is, and you copy the email, and you paste it into notes. It's a little cumbersome. And what's coming is the ability for ReloSpec to have a copy of that information come right into your responses table. Very convenient, be very nice. So we look forward to having that done in the relatively near future. Okay, one other thing about this main menu page is that it never times out. For those of you who sit most of the time in the client list page, the problem is that, as you know, in the upper right here, it says this page will time out in a certain number of minutes. And that's really an estimate. I mean, it may say 50 minutes, but really after 30, it times out. Well, what's happening is there's nothing that you're doing that tells the server, hey, I'm still here. Don't time me out. If you get on a phone call or you're away from your desk, you'll find that, okay, it times out. You have to come back here to the main menu, log out, log back in. Okay, if you just remain here at the main menu, every 5 minutes, this page sends a signal back to the server. It says, hey, I'm still here. Don't time me out. Okay, so that's really nice. Plus, this is continually updating to tell you, do you have any autopilots to send? Do you have any incoming referrals? Do you have any responses you need to look at? Okay, it's all done right here from a very convenient main menu page. Well, I hope that this has been helpful for you. If you have any other questions, be sure and let a member of the ReloSpec team know, just Sue or Jim or Tom. Any of us are here to help you out. I appreciate your taking the time. Thanks, and have a great day.